Welcome back into CBS Sports HQ. Week 9 is done. We are getting you ready for Week 10 in the NFL. If the playoffs were to happen now, here is where things stand. Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, Titans, Eagles, Vikings, Seahawks, Bucks sitting on top of their divisions. But things are a little tight, especially in the AFC East with the Bills. They're on top at 6-2. Right behind them, you got the Jets 6-3, the Dolphins 6-3, the Pats at 5-4, and the Buccaneers back on top of the NFC South. But can they maintain that? Every team in that division, including the Bucks, as you see there, below 500. Let's welcome back in Pete Prisco, Charles Davis here. Playoff picture heading into Week 10. We got the Seahawks going up against the Bucks in Germany on Sunday. That is a very long trip. But let's start with the Bucks here because we see Tom Brady do it again. The Bucks back on top of the NFC South after their come-from-behind win this past weekend. Charles, I mean, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. We never rule him out here. How do you feel about the Bucks now looking at their playoff hopes if they can get things back on track?
I do like their playoff hopes, but it's going to be a major battle. And I never thought that we'd have an NFC South where everyone would be, below 500. I thought it was a New Orleans Tampa battle all the way through. I think Pete and I both picked New Orleans in preseason. So, we have to wear and own that. Pete, let me know if I'm wrong. I don't want to put you in with me, but I did pick New Orleans.
You're right.
So that's where we are on the whole thing. I still can't believe Atlanta can run the entire race. I like what they're doing. I like what Arthur Smith is giving them as the head coach, the foundation. But this Tampa Bay team, to me, it's still their Division II win. Now, the kicker is some of these games in the preseason that we thought that they would win are now in question. And this Sunday is a big one in Munich because here comes Kenneth Walker. Here comes the Seattle Seahawks run game. Here comes a team brimming with confidence now and playing Pete Carroll football. Oh, no, this thing changes in a big way, and Tampa's not playing to the level that we expected in preseason.
Yeah, they better win this week, and I think they will, by the way. I think this is a perfect spot for them, but their schedule, you still have the 49ers and the Bengals on that schedule, and you still have a bunch of division games, so it's never easy, and they haven't played very well. The 2-minute drill was fantastic. I mean, the Rams, I don't know what the heck the Rams were doing. How about protecting your sidelines? That might have worked. But one thing, guys always say, and somebody said this to me the other day, we were talking about this game in Germany, we'll play anybody, anywhere. We'll go to a parking lot and play them. We don't care. And I said, yeah, well, Seattle's got to get on a plane for 10 and a half hours to get to Germany. You think they'd rather play in a parking lot or go to Germany? It's ridiculous, the travel schedule that they're facing, which is why I really think Tampa Bay's in a great spot this week.
Pete.
And that's where we dip, real quick, Amanda, that's where we dip with Pete. Because I'm not worried about the flight in terms of this in a one-game showdown. I wonder if the flight will hurt them later. But they are a team used to having to travel a lot anyway. This is to the extreme. I agree totally. But I do like Seattle in this ball game. I think Kenneth Walker and crew run the football well. And Tampa, they're just not shutting people down the way that we're used to seeing. I like Seattle a little bit of an upset in this one.
It's a big game for both of these teams, regardless. Let's talk about Seattle here. Look, NFC West is that division we thought we'd be talking about. Not when it comes to the Seahawks. There they are sitting on top 6-3 after going down to Arizona, beating the Cardinals. 49ers are behind them at 4-4. Seahawks remaining schedule. Look, I mean, it's the NFC West for a reason. You still got the Rams twice, 49ers, Chiefs. They also have to play the Jets. Pete, what do you think about the Seahawks and their chances to sniff the postseason?
They're going to sniff it. I don't know if they're going to get there, but I got to give Pete Carroll a ton of credit. I mean, you look at that schedule, it's brutal the rest of the way. I mean, the Panthers aren't very good. You see that. But the rest of those teams, the Rams are still the Rams in terms of the way they play against their division opponents. So I think it's still going to be a tough sledding for them to make the postseason. That's why this week is a big game for them. But Pete Carroll's done a magnificent job. He traded away Russell Wilson, and everybody killed him for it. And his quarterback's playing better than Russell Wilson. Geno Smith's been really good. They have a bunch of young defensive players that are really starting to come on. Their draft last year was fantastic. Big props to John Schneider and Pete Carroll. I don't know if they're going to make the postseason, but that team is significantly better than everybody thought they would be.
I think they make the postseason, Pete. I think that they get there despite the fact the schedule is going to be brutal for a lot of the reasons you listed. And let's remember, this is really, to me, the second time that the Pete Carroll regime, magic, whatever you want to call it, has shown through. Remember the end of the Legion of Boom previously, when everyone was finally exited and it was just Russell Wilson and we really didn't know anyone else, and everyone said, oh, that's a 3-4 win team. They went to the playoffs that year after starting 0-2. This is another one of those years. People aren't around. He traded Russell Wilson. He's going to go with Geno Smith or Drew Lock. But he got the kind of team he wanted. He got out of where he had to have a debate every day from a lot of guys on the team. I had this vision of Pete Carroll going to the office and peering around corners. Which guy wants to talk to me now? Now he gets to just coach the team, and they say, yes, coach, and go out and play. Second time in his Seattle regime this has happened. Second time I think he's going to get to the playoffs with a team most of us expected him not to.
Please, 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 I don't ask NFL players for anything, but please, Geno Smith, do something for me. Please do high knees on the plane to Germany. Please, I want you to do that. And let's get footage of that. Please, somebody get that filmed. I want to see that.
Maybe if they win, he's going to have chains around him on the way back, and we're going to see him shirtless with some glasses on. All right, Pete Carroll, 49 years of coaching experience in the NFL and college level. Somebody with absolutely zero. Jeff Saturday. Let's talk about the Colts now. Playing the Raiders this weekend. Charles, you're going to be on the call for them when they host the Eagles next weekend. So right now, when it comes to the playoffs, the Colts are on the outside looking in. You got the Patriots, the Bengals ahead of them. Charles, we'll start with you because you're going to talk about this so much over the course of the next week or two. What do you think about the Colts' chances to make the postseason?
I don't, and I haven't for a long time. I think the Colts' chances went out the window in a couple different directions, Pete. First, you start off in the season tying Houston at Houston, and you follow that up with another loss to Jacksonville. At that moment, I thought Frank Reich's clock was really ticking fast because of the unrest that was there, because of Jim Irsay last year in front of a jet engine, apologizing to fans about losing to Jacksonville in the playoffs, all of that went to it. When they decided to move on from Matt Ryan for Sam Ehlinger, another major league flag, okay? I like Sam Ehlinger. I like the way he competes, but I don't know that he's truly their starter. I'll find out when I get there in 2 weeks and see what we see. I just don't see them getting there. To me, the AFC South is a one-team playoff in the division, and that's going to be Tennessee, not Indianapolis.
Here's the problem with the Colts. They can't block anybody. If Jeff Saturday still had about 45 pounds, he might be their starting center. I mean, they're terrible on the offensive line. Ryan Kelly's played poorly. The right tackle is a disaster. The left tackle's been a disaster all year long. Even Quentin Nelson hasn't been as good. It's a bad offensive line. Doesn't matter who played quarterback. But again, the moral of the story, you could be Jeff Saturday. You could be Tony Dungy, who's coached the Colts to the Super Bowl. You could be whoever. If you don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter. And if you don't have a quarterback and you don't have an offensive line, it's a disaster.
Colts have allowed 35 sacks so far this season. That is by far the most in the NFL. Guys, thank you so much. Charles, enjoy your game on Sunday. We can't wait to watch you on that call. Eagles at Colts next weekend. Keep that in mind when it comes to Charles Davis. Playoff picture entering Week 10. There it is again, but a lot can change between now and the end of the season. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.